Hello everyone, it's time for more Toybots, and this time we're just doing a little bit of cleanup. The last Master Model Chambers with the last extra characters. This time we're doing Gur. Now, do you remember way back at the beginning of the game where there were these rotating platforms in the lava? Well, Gur's extra section explores that mechanic. Well, I guess it's not a mechanic, but it explores that hazard. So, that's kind of neat because it's still tailored to the theme of the area where he goes to. But at the same time, you probably forgot these hazards existed by this point. So exploring them now is a little weird, especially since you only get Gur way later. The platform in here is actually super easy compared to the late game stuff where we got Gur from. So it's quite a leap downward in challenge. It's actually really simple stuff. I actually think in the first video I called these platforms the first bit of actually challenge and platforming. And I'm gonna stick by that, but after all you've been through, this should be nothing at this point. Gur surprisingly hasn't said anything yet. Not that I'm complaining, because the stuff he says is really out of context and kinda dumb, but I also got a question why Professor Calamitous thought he was the hero from the Invader Zim dimension. I mean, I'd argue that nobody in Invader Zim is really a hero, but why not Zim or Dib? Because you could see them as heroes depending on how you view humanity. But I don't know about Gur, because who does Gur appeal to as a hero? Like, really young kids that like really loud, noisy characters, maybe? But I don't think the demographic that Gur is targeted at would get this far in the game, so I'm not sure. Anyway, this Master Model Chamber is for Tuesday X from the X's, and what I remember about the X's is that I used to watch it while eating corn dogs. I mean, that's about it. I don't know if it was any good or not. Okay, cool, it's time to play as Jenny. So Jenny's whole thing is exploring the trampoline mechanics, which seems a little bit excessive at this point. Especially because she doesn't explore them in a super interesting way that hasn't been done already or anything.
Excellent news! You have rescued 400 fairies! But there are still more to be found! How many times must I point out this cardboard thermometer? It goes up to 500! 5! You have only found 80%! When you have rescued all 500, I will reward you! What are you waiting for? Get out there and find the rest!
Adds a slight bit of variety because these aren't two hazards that you really see together anywhere else in the game. But at the same time, this is nothing compared to the explorations in the space section with like the Wall of Death using the trampolines. Also, I'm kinda not sure what the aesthetic in this section is supposed to be, because it's just a big tube with goo in the bottom and stuff. I don't know if we've seen this aesthetic somewhere else in the game because I can't really remember, but I don't think we have. It's kind of weird. Welcome to the last Master Model Chamber, and this Master Model Chamber contains Mr. Blick from Cat Scratch, which was a show made by Doug Tenapple. And he's a really weird guy. Not weird in the same way as Jonan Vasquez, just kinda accidentally weird. I don't think he's doing it on purpose. I don't really like Doug Tenapple's works in general. I don't think they have any kind of emotional depth to them or creativity beyond the visual level. I mean, I don't think Army Krog is the disaster everyone made it out to be, but at the same time, his stuff just seems kind of flavorless when you get past the surface.
you can eat for free!
Cosmo, no! You know what Krabby Patties do to you!
Don't worry, I'm prepared!
You've got to stop that fairy harvester before Cosmo gasses up again!
The machine's controls are right up at the front, and these pipes will lead us straight there. Let's follow them.
So welcome to Fairy World, the final platforming level in the game. It's really short, and it's nothing compared to the space level, actually quite a bit easier. It introduces one hazard I remember particularly well, but aside from that, there's not a lot here to appreciate as compared to the space level. That's not to say it's bad, it's just, you know, the rest of the game's been in ascending order of interest and difficulty, but this is, a step down from the space level. They even bring back the color coding for the platforms, which is a little weird. You remember the red and blue color coding? They bring that back. It just seems a little odd, because this comes after the space level. You can't do this one first or anything like that. So if you're wondering why I purchased a costume and am playing as Evil Danny, it's because I actually made my brother record this level. Because I recorded it, and the footage got messed up, and I was really tired from 100% in the game twice in one day, and I didn't want to do this level a third time, so I asked him to do it. Not because I dislike the level, but, you know, I already completed the game twice, 100% in one day, so I was a little exhausted. That was actually a bit scary, by the way, because I didn't delete the files or anything, and they didn't get corrupted like normal. They just kind of vanished off my computer. They just disappeared. So the bad news about this is that I originally had the cutscene recorded for collecting all 500 fairies, but that got corrupted and deleted with the rest of the files. The good news is that I had incredible foresight, so I recorded that cutscene ahead of time during my first playthrough, just in case something like this happened. And I really want you to be impressed about that, please. Because normally that wouldn't occur to me, but I was like, you know, just in case something bad happens, I should probably record the cutscene for collecting all 500 fairies, because unlike the levels, I can't just redo that. So anyway, this is the hazard I remember from this level the most, is this one, where you're floating up through an air vent and you gotta duck under the fans. You press the R2 button to duck down, by the way. It's a real simple hazard after you figure out you can duck down. But it's the thing this level has going for it, is that hazard. Because that hazard doesn't appear in any of the earlier levels or anything like that, so it's what this level has, I guess. We never get one of these weird rotating platforms again in this level either. Kind of weird that they put it there in the first place. So, we're pretty near the end of the game now. This is the second to last level. And the last level's not something I'm really gonna talk over because it's another mech shooting segment. I just want to say I had a really good time playing and recording commentary for this, because I really, really like this game. I think it's great. But it's also an incredibly niche game for a really, really small audience, which is super weird because it's a licensed Nicktoons game that was marketed at kids. But I also would be super disappointed if the game weren't this way, you know, because this is the best Nicktoons game as it is. This game has really good design when compared with the other Nicktoons games, which are just, well, Blue Tongue definitely tried, but it's kind of bland. I should specify that I mean the Blue Tongue Nicktoons games specifically, because the other two Nicktoons games I'm going to play for the channel, those aren't from Blue Tongue, those are from different developers. The Nintendo DS version of Nicktoons Unite we're going to play, that was developed by Climax, and Globs of Doom was developed by Incinerator Games, I think. Was it Inferno Games? Give me a sec. Okay, it was Incinerator Games, which they didn't develop a lot of other stuff, like at all. But we'll talk about that later when we play Globs of Doom, because we're gonna have plenty of time to talk about stuff in Globs of Doom. Plenty of time to talk about stuff. Maybe not plenty of stuff to talk about, but plenty of time, trust me. So, yeah, I guess Toybots is almost over. It's kinda sad, but I'm not too upset, because we got 2 more to go through, you know? And this definitely isn't the last time I'm personally gonna play Toybots. I don't replay too many games, because, you know, I gotta keep exploring new territory. I gotta keep finding new games to play. But, I always come back to this one. It kind of feels like an old friend at this point, because we've been through a lot together. Like, originally I thought this game was just ridiculous, and I kind of hated it because it was so absurdly difficult for a kid's game. But as I grew up, I learned to appreciate it more, you know, as I got more mature and saw what it was going for. I can't call this game Blue Tongue's magnum opus because they made Da Blob and Da Blob 2. So that would just kind of be an insult, because Da Blob and Da Blob 2 have a lot of creativity, and the developers clearly put their whole heart and soul into those games. So, are Da Blob and Da Blob 2 better designed than Attack of the Toybots? Probably not. I don't think they are. But there's a lot more going on there besides exploring game mechanics. And even though exploring your mechanics to their fullest is like my favorite thing about game design, I can still recognize when there are games that have artistic value besides that, you know? Otherwise I wouldn't like Blitz games so much. Actually, that reminds me of something that I gotta do soon. Anyway, it's definitely been a trip, and I'm super glad I could share it with you. Like I said, I'm not really gonna talk over the mech segment because it's just 10 minutes of some of the most boring gameplay that you could imagine. Almost nothing going on there. But, yeah, consider this the actual final level. I'll see you guys soon. Enjoy the ending and the credits. Platforming.
My thanks, puny heroes. So, the evil professor thinks he can strangle the power of Jorgen von Strangleby the Cage? Ha! I on his mustache, rip it from his face, and use it as a broom! No one calls Jorgen von Strangle a mere fairy. I am a magic marine. Now I have biceps like small European nations.
Ouch!
Bet that's not covered by warranty.
The evil harvester is no more! I will take care of the mopping up with my huge mop. You must go and take care of that annoying little professor man. Go, tiny hero people!
I'd like to thank nobody but myself for this great honor in winning the biggest genius.
Excuse me, Professor? You haven't won yet.
I know. I'm practicing my acceptance speech.
But everyone can hear you.
What do you mean? This is a diary closet, isn't it?
It's being broadcast. They can hear you.
Why didn't you tell me? That's your job, isn't it?
Actually, my job description doesn't clearly state that I'm obliged to inform you of...
But it doesn't say anything about this, either. Jimmy Neutron, Timmy Turner, SpongeBob SquarePants, Danny Phantom, Tack, Samantha, Patrick. Have I forgotten anyone? I will be declared the biggest genius in your hero do-gooder faces, and there's nothing you can do about it. They're heading towards my lair. Why doesn't anything ever work out for me? You didn't see that apparent moment of weakness, did you?
Look, it's the professor's lair!
A lair? How come he doesn't live in a house?
Rule 26B, subsection 4 of the Evildoer's Handbook. The moment you become evil, you gotta move into a lair.
Uh-oh, here comes the neighbors.
Let's give them some mech suit mayhem!
He's got to be in there.
We are seconds away from calling time. And time! And so, it comes to this, as it must. The moment where I have the honor, the privilege, the unmitigated pleasure to announce the winner of The Biggest Genius.
Listen, shoulder pads, just get on with it and tell me I'm the winner.
The judges have made their decision. The winner of The Biggest Genius is... the Chatbot!
Chatbot? My employee? But I didn't even know you were a contestant.
Your irrational desire to abduct the very best characters from every dimension has led to my victory over you and your hairy lip.
Indeed, it is you, Mr. Chatbot, that has magnificently combined all the theme ingredients. Krabby Patties, fairies, and ghost energy. In true genius fashion, you have gone even further to create the greatest collection of action figures in the world. Only the biggest genius could have completed such a challenge.
And I couldn't have done it without you, my friends. Thank you.
But
is exactly what you got, kid.
Care to know what your prize is?
Prize?
Not only do you get this fetching and fully synthetic, washable, drip-dry, glow-in-the-dark sash that will make you the envy of all your friends and combust near an open flame, but you also receive your very own Professor Calamitous Immobilization Bot and an electric shaver.
no, you can't. Not the mustache. It took me years to grow it.
Fantastic work! You have rescued all 500 fairies! 100%! We of Fairy World make you an honorary fairy second class. What? Why not first class? Because there is only one way to receive that award. And it is so secret that if I told you, we'd have to turn you into a fire hydrant. Be grateful, puny mortal. This is not some video game. This is real life. You're number 2. You're number 2. You're number 2.